Hey guys, what's up? So welcome to the latest cricket update channel. So let's talk about one reason for India's whitewash match winner Bumrah's form. Stumbling on his follow through, Jasprit Bumrah agonizingly watched the ball vanish over the mid-wicket fence. Martin Guptill's thunderous pull came as a blow to the bowler. Bumrah fell flat on the strip and stared in anguish before Virat Kohli dragged him back on his feet and consoled him, but Bumrah seemed beyond consolation as he dragged himself to the top of his run-up. This was unusual. India's star pacer is known to always fashion a smile even when he gets hit. This was a worrying sign for Bumrah and also for India. 1 wicket in 6 matches. Let's start with the wickets, the most tangible to the most definitive indicator of a bowler's form since his comeback from the lower back stretch fracture. Bumrah has picked just 1 wicket in 6 games. The only wicket was Australia number 10 Adam Zampa. The bowler who used to strike out with 29 ball has now gone wicketless in the last 4 games. His longest wicket drought in any form of the game. The number in isolation is not alarming, but it bewilders because it's Bumrah, the man who seemed inscrutably faultless until a few months ago. In that way, he's a victim of the gold standard. He had said it's a kind to considering that Kohli has hit a rut when he hasn't scored 110 innings, like Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo going goalless for 5 games on the spin. Lack of wicketing 12. Let's move to a more ranking worry. The dearth of the wicket-taking delivery he has bowled in this format since the layoff. Bumrah can whip up the spontaneous magic out of nowhere or any pitch, sometimes taking the pitch out of the equation against some of the most destructive batsmen with the new ball as well as the old one. Is that very good, but in this series he has been unable to just up magic deliveries. He has been quite ordinary, like a striker who has suddenly developed a clumsy feet. Worse still, he hasn't quite looked like he could take a wicket, whereas at his sharpest he looks like taking one off every ball. Lose of control. Let's prove this. Lance, one of the fundamentals of the Bumrah success in white ball cricket has been his mastery of where Lance allowed with the ability to conceal his plan, but in this series somehow he lost his immaculate control. For instance, when he tries to go full, he gets fuller comfortably drivable for the batsman. When he goes short, he gets shorter, like the Guptill 6 that took him wide off mid-on. The knockout punch from 20 odd yards out. When he tries back off a limb, the line goes off like kilter. When he tries the Yorkers, irrefutably his biggest strength, it goes either too stag-leggish or too off-stumpish. Often he has struggled to land them off too. It has been really so with the Bumrah. It has been already back in the series. No longer miserably. Let's reflect on economy rates in the 6th game. He has conceded an average of 5.26 runs an hour. There were 2 fine exhibitions of the drift in Rajkot and Bangalore where he conceded just 3.49 and 3.80 run. 5.2.6 is decent by modern day yardstick. However, in this series it shot up to 5.56, is most in any day series, but Bumrah is neither a keep one and up stock bowler nor an enforcer but an outfit executioner, and his dearth of wickets had only amplified the licking of the runs, unable to stamp mark. Let's talk of the Bumrah influence in the series. There were several typical moments for him to stamp his mark, like when he turned for the second spell in the 3rd match. The contest was still on knife edge with the New Zealand requirement 81 runs of 72 balls. Both Jimmy Neesham and Toll Nathan were struggling with their timing. One would expect Bumrah to inflict the match-defining blow. He did bowl well, his 2 overs conceding 7 runs, but arrested India required wickets. He often delivered in such a crunch situation, but didn't. The pace saw him off and tore into Shardul Thakur's end of Deep Sani. So what then is exactly ailing Bumrah? There were few apparent signs. All the usual quirks, run-up action, release and wrist have altered, as it sometimes happens when bowlers return from the serious injury. It's not the speed issue either, a case of him blowing with the deliberate restraint to preserve himself for the test. He has been consistently rallying 140 km/h. There's still that hunger and passion, but somehow he has lost his fable zip off the surface. Somehow the ball doesn't lip off the surface dramatically. True that most of the surface in the sea were bereft of the liling pace, but such factor used to hardly ever bother or hinder him. He has made the ball explode even off the anesthetized surface. Maybe it could be the calculated canning escape from the Ken Williamson in the Hamilton when the Kiwi skipper scientifically dissected his bowling with the artful bowling. So setbacks will take the time to hurl like batsman whose morale is dragged by a hostile spell of the fast bowling. A sense of the trepidation could kick in. Suddenly you are not the player you once were, and Bumrah clearly was not the bowler one knew. Baffling, he looked perfectly deceptive in the T20 series where his spells were indispensable in orchestrating in the 5-0 triumph. Maybe the intents of the calendering had taken a toll on his body. Maybe his body had not fully attuned to the rigors of the 50-over former. By the end of the match, though Bumrah had regained his cherry demeanor, he had ridden the momentary phase of the angus. He would hope that the barren spell too shall pass, and how he conquered the storm would be the fascinating narrating waiting to unfold. So if you like the channel, so kindly subscribe to it.